Hey, everybody, can you take a 2-hour video and turn it into really a profitable content kingdom with ebooks and courses and, most importantly, recurring income? We're going to answer that question here, folks, in just a moment. On to episode 118 of the Content Profit Show. And we are at 118 because of you. And thank you very much for getting us here. Couple of announcements. Just last week started a new, really it's a new business called Custom Content on Demand, where we will create content for you. Starting off with articles and blog posts, but we're going to add newsletters and sales letters and titles and calls to action and pretty much anything you need online. I've got a way to create it for you. In addition to that, starting next week, we're going to have a free e-course. No, a free challenge on e-courses. Content Profit e-course challenge, where you'll learn how to create one in 4 or 5 days. All right, so now on to the main event. It was right over here. Mark Eaton, clinical psychologist, neuropsychologist from South Africa. Yes?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hi, Jeff. Great to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm very glad. And hang on a second. I think we're going to have some fun with your content and what we can build with it. So what's your niche?
So as a mental health professional, I deal with people with difficulties, with stress, with trauma, with phobias, with anxieties. And so, working with that group of people, I like to help people.
I can tell. And I remember how fun it is. And those things you mentioned, it's fun to help with and needed as well. How'd you get into this? It's a curious thing to be into.
Well, I've been into it now for over 22 years. I qualified in 2001, and I think it was, it was from high school. I didn't really know what to do, and I was thinking, how can I make an influence in the world that's helpful? And I actually thought about, I threw some stones in a pond, a little pond at a big beach, and I saw those little ripples emanating out, and I just thought, if I can help one person and they can be in a better state, they help their family members and they help other people that they come into contact with. And so there are positive ramifications that go out in circles. So I like that concept. And yeah, I like working with flexibility and, not routine stuff and complex stuff. So yes, it all seemed to come together. And I'm quite an intellectual, but I also like the person-orientated stuff.
It's a good combination. And you have a much more dignified story than I do about getting started. Do you remember the show, the Bob Newhart show, when he was a psychologist?
Okay. Absolutely, yes.
They came out to the waiting area and okay. And so I was in 11th grade, junior in high school, when that show was on, and watched it on a Monday night. And back then in junior in high school, that's when they really start pressing you to commit to some career, and I'm thinking, this seems awfully early. But I'm sitting there with my buddy Rick outside the lunchroom on Tuesday after watching Bob Newhart one night. And Rick, like everyone else, it seemed during my life up till then, was telling me about their relationship problems. Okay. And I'm sitting there listening and I went, wait a minute. Okay, that'd be cool. And that's really how it started.
I remember something from that Bob Newhart show. The one he was sitting with a client in front of him, and she was saying, "Well, what do I do here?" And he just says, "Stop it." Stop it.
That is the best video.
With his dry video, with his dry humor.
What do you mean? And he goes, people complicate this so much. STOP, new word, IT. It actually, there's you can build some good therapy around that. Yeah. All right, so you serve adults and adolescents, right?
Sorry, I lost a bit of video.
You serve adults and adolescents?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm more adults than adolescents, but
Okay.
but yeah, I like variety, so I will help and assist, but primarily adults.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to go, because if you're going to sit in a chair all day, you might as well have some variety, right? Um, you have, can you still hear me, Mark? Because you've frozen a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, there you
we're
are. Okay,
back
you're
now.
back. Good, 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 good. And right in time for me to ask you, so what's the dream? All this.
Well, I'm quite busy as a professional, but I'd love to have some passive income. And my son is just turned 18 a few days ago, and he's going to university.
Right.
And so it'll be lovely to help fund his university studies in Cape Town, in Stellenbosch University for next year with some passive income.
That's a good goal. I can't wait to help you with that. All right, so let's dive in here and take a look at, here we go. Take a look at what Mark has here. Um, love the signature for the top of your website. Anxiety. Join psychologist Mark Eaton for a lecture on child anxiety with audience Q&A. There's just one word in that I'd change, Mark. Got to guess what it might be in that title?
Audience.
Now, audience is great. Lecture.
Yeah,
Because how many people want to go to a lecture? I mean,
yeah.
how many people wake up in the morning and go, you know what I need? I need to go to a lecture today. Uh-huh. Yeah, right. However, if it's a workshop or a symposium or a mini workshop,
Yeah,
with these results, that would be good stuff. Anxiety in
yeah.
children and teens, what you need to know and what you can do. This is for sale, folks. It's showing 10 pounds because he's in South Africa. This link will be in the show notes afterwards, which are pretty much ready to go, except for the new part. That's my mom. Tell her I'm busy. Um, all right. So there is so very much you can do with this. And as we talked about, and you already mentioned this is a 2-hour video. Okay. And
Yeah.
so most people are not going to get through that nowadays. There was a time when they would, but so what you do is you break it up into pieces, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at some of the pieces you can break it up into. And we can remove this part and make this a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. So we're going to take you all the way from beginning to membership today, because I have an affinity for where you are. I was there 17, 18 years ago, and really have a desire to help y'all. That's Southern for a lot of people. And if it's a lot of people, it's all y'all. Anyway, so of course you got to get traffic, current lists, email, this course you do, or lecture you do, I'm sorry, workshop you do, Facebook ads, webinars, all kinds of ways, Medium, Substack. Okay. And then we got to get some entry level stuff. And I didn't put this here, but let's add it now. That one of the easiest things you could do is take that video and have it transcribed.
Yes.
And with a
Got
very few tweaks, you've got an ebook.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's something you can offer to the public for a fee, and maybe to your, in-house clients as a bonus, or, because what it'll do, everything we're going to do here will set you apart very much within the therapeutic community, within the change community, because 90% of them don't have any of this stuff. And so it's interesting. That just reminded me of what I've got sitting here. When we did that brief thing on the Content Profit Challenge, I don't remember if I mentioned this, but there is a woman here in the Atlanta area who has dove deep into dealing with teenagers and young adults with anxiety, and she has an interesting name. It's Chinwei, Chinwe Williams, Chinwe Williams,
Yeah.
and it's called Seen: Healing Despair and Anxiety in Kids and Teens Through the Power of Connection. And then she's got one before that too. Definitely be worth a read for you. Um,
Yeah.
and this is why I love working with this, because it's been years now, but when I was working with high schoolers at church, it was either before beginning of 10th or 11th grade. I sat down with about 25 of them and said, all right, look, we've been together for a couple years. You know, there's a message from stage every Sunday afternoon, and then, you know, some questions for us to talk about. What I want to know is what you guys want to talk about this year. And even though I work with this field and work with these kids and still do, and all of this, Mark, the answer blew me away, because it was three things: stress, anxiety, and depression.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're 15. I mean, when I was 15, my biggest source of stress was Bonnie going to be my girlfriend or not, you know? And
Yeah.
it's just a screaming difference between when we were doing that and what's happening now. And I'm grateful we didn't have social media. There's things I did already. Um, and so all that to say, this is just, I mean, you have got something that is a need with adults by themselves, adults that are parents,
Yeah.
kids. There's so much to do with this. All right, so we got that ebook. What could you help? Well, your course is on for parents of adolescents. So, what could you help a parent of an anxious teenager achieve in 20 minutes or less on a small mastermind?
Yeah, well, I think taking them through, firstly the parents to understand developmentally how they need to address their child and understand what's normal and what's not normal,
Yeah.
and then also to give them some tools to be able to calm their child down, so that they get that emotional intensity down, and then be able to engage with the power of connection. You mentioned that Chinwe Williams.
Yeah.
Connect with them in order to get them to talk about what's going on, so that they can unpack and then break those things that are bothering them down
If,
into
if you could give a parent just one thing to say to diffuse and calm down, besides, oh, calm down, it's not that big a deal.
yeah,
You're stressed, you should see my life, or which really doesn't facilitate connection so much. Um, and so, yeah, that you could do a one-time small group mastermind,
yeah,
not only with um, outside people, with a few signed confidentiality agreements. You could do that with your current clients in a 5-person group. Um,
yeah, yeah,
and that would be a great way to get them to want to do other stuff. Um, and this is being recorded. You're going to get the audio and the video and the barking right after this too. So below that, I call it an action article workbook, and they're sort of like many small ebooks, in that you just take an article you've written on your blog or somewhere,
Mhm.
leave it, and then put in some action questions. Okay,
Yeah,
get them involved. And the last one is always, would you like some help with this? And then a link to where you help. Um, and
mhm.
then the other thing you can do with it, and this is the crazy thing, you just leave a space on the PDF of several lines below each question, okay, where they can fill it in. It becomes a workbook. This is one of the first entry level things I did years ago for like $7. And
Yeah,
you're not going to get rich on that, but
mhm.
it'll get buyers buy, and then they'll buy more.
Yeah,
One time small group mastermind make a huge difference, giving parents tools to calm people down. Your Come here, get up here. Your video lends itself very easily to a course or a mini course. Um, Thank you for your contribution and protecting the house. We're all good. Stand down. All right, that'll be fun on the replay. Um, he just wants stage time.
Yeah.
So just off the top of your head, thinking about that training, how many modules could we break that down into?
Yeah, I mean, I covered in brief so many different things. So it literally could be about six, and because there's all of the content there is stuff that I deal with every single day. And so if I just broke it down into six different components, I could roll with the content and make it very accessible and very detailed to be very helpful to people.
I like that. I like that. And so that would be a mini course. I mean, that would be a course. And then if you took each module, you could have a mini course. Okay. So that would be 6 or 7 other streams of income. Now, the cool thing about this model is that about a third of the people that take a course will end up in the membership.
Yeah.
And about half of the people that do a short-term membership end up in the membership. Now, you could take any one of those modules and do a short-term membership around it, like 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, and dive deeper with it. Okay, because some people are scared of doing a month-to-month membership because what if I get taken? What about the Columbia record deal a long time ago? And that I did when I was a kid. My parents about killed me. 11 albums for $1. And so a short-term membership will get them over that. And one of the really important pricing things, let's say you did 12 weeks, okay?
Yeah.
And you could charge, like, let's say you charge $37 a month for that. The really cool strategy is make sure that whatever you're charging for that short-term membership, that's what you charge monthly for your membership. Because it's easy to say, hey, you've been doing this for 3 months. All you got to do to keep going deeper with this is, join the membership. Now, a really cool way you could do a short-term membership, and I'm playing with titles here, is how to help your teenager. How to help. Yeah, okay, here it is. How to help your teen's anxious mind without losing yours.
Yeah, good one.
You can tell I used to be in this field. What the heck? Oh, okay. I looked out the window and there was a car, looked like it was sideways on another car, but I couldn't see the tow truck under it. Wow. I didn't hear any wreck. All right, a membership. Now, I'm real big on, and especially for busy folks like you, a membership that has a small delivery, small amount of delivery, and also a small amount of consumption. Okay, because you don't want to spend all your life on this membership, right? You got kids, you got a wife, you got your clients. So low service delivery, low service consumption. So really, you could do something like, this training would be part of it, would come with it, kind of like mine. The courses come with it. Other courses you create, the mini course, da 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 da. And then say once a month, you got on live with those people and you dealt with an issue. Okay.
Yeah.
You've already got half a year built out with the course, right? And then once a month, you do a Q&A. And the way to make those work is create a Google form that you send them, a week before, where they can ask a question and then send it in to you. The other way to deal with that, everybody's biggest fear about Q&As are, what if no one asked a question? Which is a good question to ask.
Yeah.
And so you have an ongoing list of questions everybody usually asks, but may not be asking today. So you can say, well, one question everybody asks is, um, it's kind of like when I had a relationship radio show here in Atlanta. Um, I interviewed a person for an hour, right? And so it's easy to fill up an hour interviewing a professional or whatever. But I also had what I called my oh crap file. Like if something happened and they couldn't get to the mic or the phone, or they just flaked out or whatever, I had something I could talk about for an hour.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing with having those questions as a backup. Now,
Mm.
From ebook all the way through membership, this is an empire. With what you got going on, I want to see you get to recurring as quickly as possible. And so there's lots of ways you could do this. You could, I never thought of this before. Y'all that are listening to this, watching this, whether you're live or on replay, here's a treat for everybody. You could create a membership of action article workbooks. And just every month, they got an article about dealing with anxiety with some action questions and a workbook. Okay. That might be a lower priced one. I just wrote that down going, thinking, I need to do this. But that
Yeah,
could
it's a good
probably,
point.
we're talking $7 to $17 here, which doesn't sound like much, but I got a buddy, Liz Wilcox. She's got an email marketing membership for $9 a month, and she's approaching 10,000 members. I don't know about you, Mark, but I could probably eat and live on 90,000 a month. That'd be all right.
Yeah, that would be all right. That would be all
You,
right.
you pay for some college. I'm sorry, some, as you guys say it, you pay for some university that way.
Yeah.
And so, you can turn a course into a mini membership. Like when I do courses, they're usually $197 or 3 payments of $77. And what the 3 payments is training people to do is to get comfortable with paying you monthly. Okay. Short-term membership, of course, is a membership, and here's a good write down. All roads lead to membership. All roads lead to membership. So everything you're doing leads to that membership.
Yeah.
Now, the only downside that I can think of to having current, in front of you clients in the membership is they will probably need the one-on-one therapy less. Okay? So,
Yeah.
but
That's not a problem because there's so many out there and there's so many clients. So I end up turning people away or referring them on. So that would be a good problem to have, being able to see them less, but they're getting the education and they're getting the support elsewhere from my content on a passive basis.
Absolutely. And the quicker somebody can make improvements, the better. When I went through hypnosis and phobia training, I mean, one of the first things I did was I got sent a kid that had been to 3 people before with a school phobia, and 2 of those 3 were good in town. And because of my training, we took care of it in one session, and the talk got me a lot of referrals. But I remember thinking, how do you build a business around one session? This got to slow this down, Jeff. Anyway, all of these things would just up your it would up your credibility with current in front of you clients. Like when I had the relationship column when I was a private practice therapist in the capital of Florida, Tallahassee, a place teeming with mental health, more therapists than cab drivers and maybe even attorneys because of the universities. And so when someone called one of those therapists, the two questions were, how much do you charge, and can I get my insurance to pay for it? Which
Yeah.
makes sense, but really what they're asking is, how little can I pay you, and can I get someone else to do it? You know,
Yes.
not good business. Having the stuff we're talking about here, it changed the question in my world to instead of asking me those questions when somebody called me up, it was, how soon can I get in to see you? Okay. And so I just wish I had all these other tools back then.
Yeah.
Here's Phil jumping in. Dang, Jeff, you just gave me an idea on how to distribute the stuff I write about by creating a really affordable membership. And thanks to Mark for the longest distance consultation in history.
Great, grateful. Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, Phil, you could take your book or the things you put on Facebook and do this, man. I love it. I love it. I'm loving it. All right. Remember I told you it'd be the quickest 20? Well, we're at the 26 mark because I got so into this, and because you know, I know the world you're in. Getting a glimpse of what's possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's exciting.
It is. It is. I'm excited for you. Any questions as we wrap up here?
You know, I think it's just, you know, the practicalities of what site to sell the memberships and those sorts of things. So that's, you know, that's always the, you know, the background question.
Sure.
I know you like StreamYard, and StreamYard is the platform, but also just finding how to integrate with whatever PayPal or Stripe, or which way to actually get the money flowing in.
Would you be interested in a way to do all of that for free?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thought you might say that. People will try to sell you, and I'm an affiliate for a lot of those, you know, membership site or course things. Kajabi and all the other stuff. Memberoni, I think, is what I use. It's a weird name.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't know is that with a WordPress site, you can have protected pages. It's up in the corner where you publish it public or you publish it protected. Now, the downside is everybody's got the same login, but the upside is you don't got to pay for something. And the other way to make it easier is you could do what we're talking about, the video and the Q&A, or the live stuff in the Q&A, without a website. Okay, because you're sending them stuff by email. Now you could send them to a Facebook page or a one-page site. And then the other thing is both StreamYard and Zoom have free levels for starting out. So we can start this whole project at no cost right now. And that way, you know, get some income coming in, paying for that university, and, you know, taking this further so we can go further. So if there ever was a time I'm glad I went over, it's this one. So Mark, thanks for being such a great guest and bringing great stuff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Everybody out there, thank you for being here. Phil, thank you for your great comment. And folks, if you want to be sitting in Mark's seat, not way over there in South Africa, but, you know, in your own office or home, that link is right down here, contentprofitseat.com. Although I may have put nation. I can't see it from here. Either way, you can go to Content Profit Nation or contentprofitseat.com. Content Profit Seat is where you sign up for one of these things. Again, Mark, thank you so much. Folks, as always, you know what to do. You go use this stuff, and we will catch you next time.